I want to talk about Donald Trump's foreign policy blunders, fam. What do you think about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of them, fam.
Well, there's a lot of people out there getting scared that say, they're attacking Tulsi Gabbard right now because they're saying that Tulsi Gabbard isn't a option other than Trump, a different option, but she is, because she really is an anti-interventionist. There are some people out there in the media who have been saying, we were in the audience that day, me and Johnny Sue, and here it is when Bill Maher says that Tulsi Gabbard is just like Donald Trump, a non-interventionist.
So one place where you're fairly similar to Trump is you're a non-interventionist.
Yeah.
I mean, you
right
see
there.
this with Iran lately.
So he kind of goes into some stuff and he calls her a non-interventionist. But I want to state something because it's far from the truth. But I want to point out some of his positives real quick. Here's another picture. I do appreciate when he does do stuff good. Like he went and talked to Kim Jong Un, try to broker a peace deal, which hasn't been brokered in a long time. You can see there's a little quick picture real quick. He's just walking across the DMV. No president's done that. And I think a lot of people went and attacked him, especially the mainstream media fam, when they called him, he's talking to a dictator.
Right.
What do you think about this move when he did that?
I think that was a good move. I separate myself from punishing him for that, because I think that the mainstream media, of course, they will vilify anybody that wants to achieve peace and talk to an opponent as an apologist, like an Assad apologist for Tulsi, or in this case for Donald Trump. However, could he have done more? Absolutely. Did he do more than maybe Hillary Clinton would have done? Absolutely. But I'm like, I don't want to say, oh, he did this amazing, awesome thing, because I feel like a lot of it was self-gaining, self-promotion. To me, it matters why you do things. And I don't think he did it because he thought he was going to achieve world peace. I think he did it because he wanted to look good. And that's that. But I will say that no matter why he did it, it was a good thing to do. So.
Well, if Obama had done this, they've been praising him like crazy.
Oh, absolutely.
And like you said, he could have done more. When we saw this stuff happen, we saw the talks last year, we thought they would pull out of the drills. The drills that are run in South Korea are still mimicking an invasion of North Korea. They've been doing it for a long time. And guess what? Guess who pays for those drills, fam?
We do.
Exactly. So I thought he would have that libertarian mindset, draw back, not do the drills, but they went forth with him, so we had to pay the cost for that. I also want to point out that I appreciate him not listening to Lord John Bolton when it came to bombing Iran. Remember, they set up Trump. They said they fired down an unmanned drone, and this is what Trump had to say when he was belittled again by the liberal media for not attacking Iran. Take a look.
Plane, whatever you want to call it. And here we are sitting with 150 dead people that would have taken place probably within a half an hour after I said go ahead. Yeah. And I didn't like it. I didn't think it was proportionate.
Oh, fam.
It's the first time we see the president.
Did he just say something of peace and get ridiculed for that? Remember this?
Yeah. But he goes back. Like, then he lets Bolton and Pompeo go back and pretty much do whatever the hell they want. Yeah. So again, it just seems something to save face.
Yeah, it's kind of weird too, because I mean, we talked about having Elliot Abrams and Lord Bolton as your policy advisors when it comes to foreign policy. That maybe it was a tactic to say, "Yo, I got the craziest guys. I have them on a leash. I'm gonna let them go unless you make a deal." But it really hasn't worked out that way.
He's the one that's on a leash. That's what it seems like to me.
I mean, the whole thing is that he's continued with the crippling sanctions that have led to the people fleeing at the southern border.
So let's get to the criticisms, because.
Okay, you want to get to the criticism? You gotta wait.
We haven't gotten to them.
Let's get to them. We got Abrams. He was another one. John Bolton, and that's why you got to say he's not. So let's talk about the first one. His first policy blunder. We're going to go back. I think number 5, I put number 1, but it's the 5th worst one is Afghanistan. Now, there's a lot of talk in Afghanistan, but the U.S. has never dropped as many bombs on Afghanistan as it did in 2018. This is the part we thought that maybe he would kind of pull back and whatnot, but he kind of acknowledges that there's a military-industrial complex, and I don't know what his plan was to drop a lot of bombs, spend a lot of money, and then pull it away. But he still hasn't reached a deal. He's still talking about pulling out troops, and he hasn't, fam.
And the worst part is that he and the Republican Party largely criticized Barack Obama for doing the same thing, for stalling and not pulling troops out of Afghanistan. So it's very hypocritical to me, and I railed against Obama equally the same as I am for Trump doing that. But Trump campaigned as a non-interventionist. And a lot of people, and people will disagree with me on this, some of the progressives who think that every single person that voted for Donald Trump is racist, that is entirely wrong. Some people who voted for him thought he would shake up the system. He wasn't like a typical establishment Clinton politician, and that they couldn't vote for Hillary. And so they, a lot of veterans I know, because I know a good amount of vets, were absolutely unwilling to ever vote for someone like Hillary Clinton because of her warmongering ways. And Trump campaigned as an anti-interventionist, and he hasn't done it, as we are about to continue to explain.
He keeps teasing. He's like, I'm going to pull the troops out. I'm going to pull them out already. Pull them out. Number 2, Nicaragua. We have to talk about Nicaragua because guess what? Trump signs a bill to sanction the Nicaraguan government. Here we go again, fam. We've said on the show before, sanctions are an act of war, and they affect who? Mainly the poor. So why is he starting in with Nicaragua? Because John Bolton told him to?
And if you want to fix our immigration issue, you don't put more sanctions on these countries and cause more destabilization of their nations and their governments and their people, and then turn them into refugees who in turn come in here. And now you're telling them that they can't step a foot inside of the United States. And you're putting them in a situation where a quagmire where they can't go on either end. But that is entirely our military industrial complex causing that in the first place. Yeah. So where's the non-interventionism? I don't know. And
I want to remind people that Daniel Ortega has made Nicaragua one of the most peaceful nations in the Central and South America, in that whole region. He is also, it had the best gender equality than any country in South and Central America, and 1/3 of the indigenous people had owned land under Daniel Ortega. But you know what, fam? The United States, we can't let people see them, they're citizens of another country, get free health care, education, or good pay.
Right, and this isn't just Donald Trump. This happened again in 2009 with the coup against Honduras. So this isn't a left or right issue. This is a military-industrial complex and class issue.
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned Honduras, because Honduras is the next one, fam. And, you know, we talk about President Trump, you know what I'm saying? When they removed Manuel Zelaya, which was in 2009, and it was Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, and they played the stupid role, like, we don't know, talking against it, but allowing it to happen, especially when you have lawyers and people who are connected to the Clinton Initiative and, you know, Bill Clinton's foundation, and you can see the fuckery that was going on. Excuse my French, I know we're on Twitch, we're not supposed to quit. But when they removed Manuel Zelaya, the fear was that Manuel Zelaya was going to amend the Constitution to allow a president to run for more than one term. And in fact, when he was talking about doing it, he was saying that he wasn't going to be running for another term. It was just to allow his party to. But they removed him anyways. And guess what Juan Orlando Hernandez has done? He's mended the Constitution so he can get a second term. He's in his second term, a fugazi election. And Donald Trump supported him because Israel has a 10-year weapon deal with Honduras, and one of the biggest military bases is in Honduras. So I thought Donald Trump was going to have the ability to say, you know what? Let's be a libertarian. Let's just bring everybody home. Screw these people. Let them fend for themselves. I don't care if it's as harsh as that sounds. I'll take it right now. Just get out of their business.
Right, and that's not, I don't know if you're going to mention this, but let's not forget Trump's loyalty to Netanyahu and Israel's right-wing fascist government, because that's what he is. If you think Trump is bad, Netanyahu is like 10,000 times worse. And it's not just because of what he's doing with Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib. It is because of what his government is doing to the Palestinian people. And a lot of people in Israel are actually against that. And a lot of Jewish people in the United States are actually against that. Yes. So it's not an anti-Semitism thing as much as it is an authoritarian government, right-wing sort of situation that we have. And
I think a lot of times that when we talk about these situations, if we're talking, and if you haven't got a chance, ladies and gentlemen, go to our Convo Couch YouTube. Fiorella's got 3 awesome videos out there. It's for the political junkies out there, the people who want to get into this deep. This is juicy steak, or for you vegetarians, it's juicy mushroom caps. But it is really, really good stuff, and it talks about it because really a lot of the stuff, when we're critical of Israel, we're talking geopolitically. We're talking geopolitically, and they try to bring in the anti-Semitism into the whole conversation, and they shouldn't, because there's a lot of geopolitical decisions that are made which really affect people all around the world. Now, the next one is your favorite, fam. It's Venezuela. New York Times, just the other day, and this is once again, where are the Democrats? Where are the Democrats?
They're in coalition with the Republicans on this.
New sanctions on Venezuela, fam. It's going to affect who? The poor people, and guess what? More migration.
And then what we're going to do is say that it's Maduro's fault, and that socialism doesn't work. And this is why everybody should embrace capitalism. And that's exactly what we've done time and time again, and what we will continue to do.
Yeah.
So Trump had an opportunity there to be against that. And when you see the Republicans and the Democrats agreeing on one thing, it's about war and interventionism. That's what they agree on.
I really thought that Donald Trump was going to use the whole fact when it came to South and Central America, and that's why it was so disappointing to see him hire Abrams. So disappointing to hire Bolton, because they baited him in this situation, and now they're doubling down on stupid. Not to mention that they gave the opposition like $41 million that they could have brought home about a month ago. It's just terrible. But what I thought Donald Trump was going to do, and you said he had the opportunity, was go to these countries and say, you know what, hey, listen, I'll lift the sanctions. I'll lift them right now. You have sanctions that have been on from the last 3 administrations. I'll lift them right now, but you got to do business with me. Give me your oil at a price, and I'll lift all the sanctions and let you be. How about that? You know what I'm saying? But he didn't do that. He doubled down. He tried to put the boot on the neck of these people, and these people came back even more resilient. And when it comes to all the talk about, we're talking about like white supremacy, Venezuela is just that. I'm sorry. You got Donald Trump, John Bolton. It ain't geopolitical. You're putting on a bunch of poor people of color's necks in Venezuela you're trying to starve them out. You're trying to take medicine away from them. So when Maduro actually refers to it, this is an incident where I think he's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it doesn't matter what your opinion on Maduro is. Ultimately, we need to let Venezuela be and stop using the Trojan horse idea that we're going to offer humanitarian aid when we know that's, if we cared about humanitarian aid, we would be helping other people like in Yemen. But we obviously don't care unless there's an interest, and our interest there is oil. Yeah. So,
and we might look geopolitical, but it's not going to come off that way, especially when a lot of indigenous people are going to be starved out of food, starved out of medicine, and you got Donald Trump, John Bolton, and Abrams.
And you're telling Colombians, the Colombian government, to literally prevent these people from getting the help that they need. So obviously you don't give a damn about humanitarian aid.
No. And the last one, number 5 or number 1, is Iran again. He's let these guys, now John Bolton's doubling down. He wants to seize an oil tanker. He wants to just provoke. When is Donald Trump going to fire these guys? Donald Trump should fire these guys. I know, but he fires everybody. Why wouldn't he fire these guys? And these particular, you got Pompeo, you got Barr, you got Abrams, you got Bolton. He's got to get rid of these guys, because this is the area where it really, really sucks. And Tulsi Gabbard said he needs to swallow his pride and get back in this deal. We already gave them their money. Why would he pull out of this deal? This was the worst thing ever, and it just keeps the whole region on edge, and it's just not a good thing for him.
Yeah, and again, sanctions are an act of war, and even though and through putting sanctions, you're causing a destabilization of this country. So, yeah.
All right, let's get to the next topic. Those are the top 5 blunders from Donald Trump, foreign policy. Whatever you guys think out there, you let us know. Do you think Trump's doing a good job, a bad job? Let us know. We have 200 people watching on a beautiful Sunday